$500,000 worth of Bitcoin gone in an instance. If you don't control your private keys, you don't truly own your Bitcoin. The Bitfinex hack, the Mt. Gox Bitcoin loss, Ponzi schemes, the giveaway scam. Scammers are being smarter, bolder, and more creative. Scams going on to do with your crappy fiat dollars. A scam that's hidden in plain sight. Governments and central banks. So imagine you're just scrolling one evening, you're lying in bed, and you come across an Instagram post and you think, yeah, I really like that t-shirt. So you go and click through and you put all your details in, you buy the t-shirt and you think none the wiser. About 5 minutes later though, you get a phone call. It's someone claiming to be from the exchange where you have some of your Bitcoin. So you talk to the person on the other end and they convince you to open up your account and do some checks to make sure everything's okay, of which you oblige and you go and do that. You hang up, you think everything's fine. You then get a phone call from your hardware wallet provider. In this case, Trezor. So Trezor's on the phone telling you, hey, the other part of your Bitcoin is also under threat. It could be stolen from you. We better take action now. And the person on the phone says, just open up your Trezor, press these buttons, and we'll take care of everything for you. Now, you go to bed then, thinking everything's fine. You've saved the day, and luckily that these really, really great companies called you to protect your Bitcoin. Of course, you wake up in the morning, you open up your account and find everything is gone. Every last bit of Bitcoin from your hardware wallet and also your exchange. Absolutely devastating. And I'm talking to the tune of $500,000 worth of Bitcoin gone in an instance. And this is exactly what happened to a friend of mine. This exact scenario. And I'm talking only in the past month, but this is happening recently. And it's not just happening to my friend, it's happening to a lot of other people. Now, if this is ringing true to you and you think, I've seen this somewhere before, yeah. A lot of people have seen the Beekeeper movie, and in that exact instance, there was a company that called the lady in one of the beginning scenes to say, hey, your money is under threat. And so she logged into her account and essentially everything was stolen from her over the internet in a matter of seconds, and it didn't turn out too well for her. So the reason why I wanted to put this video in particular together for you is obviously highlight my friend's story and use this as an example so that this doesn't happen to you, but go through what are some of the scammer tactics that you should be looking out for and how you can protect your Bitcoin into the future. So we're going to dive deep into this topic of scams that's crucial for everyone interested in digital assets. It's going to be the risks of cryptocurrency scams, the stories behind some of those biggest Bitcoin losses, how scammers actually operate, and how you can safeguard your hard-earned coins. Plus, we're going to tackle less obvious but equally important risk, how actions by governments and central banks might be quietly eroding the value of your money. So whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about what all the fuss is about, stick around. This episode could save you a fortune. So the question is, why does crypto space attract so many scammers? Well, cryptocurrency is still a relatively new frontier. It's decentralized, borderless, and transactions are often irreversible. And if you do lose your Bitcoin somewhere by transferring it, you can't just call up the Bitcoin hotline, right? Because it's decentralized. And once it's gone, it's gone. So that makes it a prime target for fraudsters. So unlike traditional banking, there's no undo button if something goes wrong. Now in 2024 alone, Aussies lost millions of dollars to crypto scams. And globally, the numbers are even more staggering. With so much money flowing into digital assets, scammers are being smarter, bolder, and more creative. Now, that's not to say that I want to deter you away from investing in digital assets like Bitcoin, because before Bitcoin, and there still are, scams going on to do with your crappy fiat dollars. People are still trying to steal your money from your banks as well, right? So this is not unique to Bitcoin, but for people who are listening now who are invested in Bitcoin and other digital assets, it's good to know what's going on. Let's talk about one of the top cases out there. This was the Mt. Gox disaster. Now, Mt. Gox was once the world's largest Bitcoin exchange. handling around 70% of all Bitcoin transactions back in its heyday. So in 2014, the company suddenly suspended trading, shut down its website, and filed for bankruptcy. Now, why would they do this? Because it had lost a mind-blowing 850,000 Bitcoins, worth over $450 million at the time. And now that went straight to the hackers. Now the breach went undetected for years, and how that happened, I have no idea. But when the news finally broke, it sent shockwaves through the entire crypto ecosystem. Thousands of users lost their life savings. So the Mt. Gox collapse taught us a hard lesson. Even big, trusted platforms can be vulnerable. And if you don't control your private keys, you don't truly own your Bitcoin. Now let's fast track forward to 2016 and talk about another infamous incident, the Bitfinex hack. Now, Bitfinex was and still is a major cryptocurrency exchange. One day, hackers exploited a security flaw and stole nearly 120,000 Bitcoins, worth about $72 million at the time. Now, the aftermath, the value of Bitcoin plummeted. Bitfinex users had their accounts marked down by 36%, and the exchange issued tokens as IOUs to compensate customers, a bit like the banks that we deal with today. So while some funds were eventually recovered, the incident highlighted how even sophisticated security systems can fail, and how the ripple effects of a hack can impact not just individuals, but the entire market. The next one I want to talk about is FTX. Now, this was only in recent years, and in fact, when I say recent years, probably the last 3 years, under Sam Bankman-Fried, the FTX crypto exchange completely collapsed, and investors and customers lost over $8 billion. Imagine that, $8 billion. It was one of the largest exchange collapses in the world at the time. Now, some people might say that it was a scam. In my opinion, it wasn't necessarily a direct scam. I don't think Sam Bankman-Fried was intentionally trying to steal people's money, but was there negligence and fraud? Absolutely. And the point is that even some of these big crypto exchanges that we see that advertise on Formula One race team cars, and they were advertising on Mercedes-Benz Formula One team cars, even those guys can be susceptible to collapse. So we just have to be really, really careful all around, whether it's a direct scam or it's someone who's just being fraudulent in the crypto space. In my opinion, don't hold your crypto on an exchange. So the question is, how do these scammers actually get their hands on your crypto? So let's run through some of the most common and dangerous methods. The first one is phishing. These are fake emails or websites designed to steal your login details or private keys. Now, this would be very similar into my friend's case. And what had happened in her situation was she pressed on an ad on Instagram, which then took her through to a fake website. She thought she was buying t-shirts, but in fact, what she was doing was entering in all of her private information, including her credit card details, her phone number, her email, her name, etc. And now the scammers have that. They then use that information to call her up and pretend to be the exact companies that she had crypto with. The next type of thing would be Ponzi schemes. Too good to be true investments that pay early adopters with money from new investors until it all collapses. A lot of people who are not in the Bitcoin space, who hate the Bitcoin space, quite often call Bitcoin itself a Ponzi scheme. But based on Bitcoin and how it operates, it doesn't meet the definition of a Ponzi scheme. Now, the other one would be fake exchanges. Now, this would be horrible. Now, this is where websites look legitimate, but are actually set up solely to steal your deposits, right? That's why it's so important that you must use reputable and known exchanges. And if you must, make sure you've got the right software to make sure it identifies these fake websites. The other thing would be malware, dodgy software or apps that can spy on or steal your passwords. That means if you accidentally upload a dodgy app to your phone, that could be devastation. Hey guys, just quickly, this episode is brought to you by Coinstash, the Australian exchange I personally use to invest my SMSF into Bitcoin and crypto. Now, Coinstash is Australia's leading SMSF crypto exchange built for investors just like you. What really sets them apart is their service and expertise. If you're looking to invest in crypto through your SMSF, they make it simple. Just book a free call with their local team and they'll walk you through the entire process. From setting up your crypto SMSF account to helping you stay compliant with Australian regulations, their experts guide you every step of the way. You'll get fast onboarding, dedicated support wherever you need it. You might be investing in digital assets, but with Coinstash, you're dealing with real people, and that makes all the difference. So if you're ready to take control of your crypto super and make your SMSF crypto journey smooth sailing, hit the link in the show notes and book a free call with the Coinstash team today. Now, back to the episode. Social engineering. Scammers impersonate trusted contacts or use psychological tricks to get you to reveal sensitive information. There was one of these social engineering hacks that went on recently where they actually used one of the most famous people in the Bitcoin space. It was Michael Saylor. And so what happened was you'd be scrolling through your social media, you'd see Michael Saylor talking about a particular deal. And this particular deal, Michael Saylor using AI, right? So it wasn't actually him saying it. It looked like he was saying, send us any amount of Bitcoin and we'll send you double back, right? Classic too good to be true type of scam, right? So imagine you sent one Bitcoin, you thought you were going to get 2 Bitcoin back, right? Why? No reason. Just because Michael Saylor apparently was feeling good that day, right? So obviously that is a complete scam, but guess what? So many people fell for it. So that's an example of the social engineering scam. So one thing to think about in this social engineering type of scam is that as AI just gets better and better and better, these types of scams are going to be everywhere. There could be the days where even you have an AI version of me on social media talking to you about something that is amazing, and why don't you send me some Bitcoin and I'll send you double back. And you think, yeah, I know that guy, Matt, he's from Australia, he seems good, we trust him. Unfortunately, that could end up being a scam. So you've got to be so careful with these things. And at this stage, we don't even know what we don't know. How about rug pulls? Developers raise funds for a project, then disappear with all your money. You got to watch that one. Really prevalent within the altcoins. Now, how about another one that's in the altcoins, the pump and dump? Coordinated hype to inflate a coin's price, followed by a massive sell-off that leaves latecomers with worthless tokens. So let me give you a classic example of a combination of a rug pull and a pump and dump. And that was the Hoktua coin, right? This is just a meme coin that came out, and the Hoktua girl who was famous all over social media for becoming famous on social media. Developers behind the scenes, this is my opinion and my super sleuth, they convinced her to put her face and her short-lived fame onto this meme coin. And what they did is they pumped the crap out of it. $490 million was pumped into this coin, and then boom, it was dumped by a rug pull and dropped all the way down to $41 million. Now, this is something that luckily for me, I didn't invest in, and I hope you didn't too, but it's certainly something that you need to watch out for, because these rug pulls and pump and dumps are everywhere in the altcoins. Some people say that one of the biggest pump and dumps of recent months was the Trump coin. Now, I'm not saying whether it was a pump or a dump. I don't know if it was right. I don't even know if that was really a pump and a dump by the Trump. But you let me know what you think. Was the Trump a pump and a dump? All right, so forgetting about the Trump and the dumps and the pumps, let's get practical. How can you protect your Bitcoin to avoid becoming a scam statistic? Here are my top 10 tips. Number 1, use hardware wallets. Store your Bitcoin offline in a secure device, not an exchange. You could even take things further than that, using a hardware wallet that is air-gapped. Number 2 would be enable two-factor authentication, quite often called 2FA. It's adding an extra layer of security on your accounts. And what's shocking to me is I recently talked to my friends at Coinstash, and they told me that so many people don't even activate one of the simplest security measures of a 2FA, which I found quite shocking. And it's one of those things that's so simple, but yet could save your Bitcoin. So make sure you get your 2FA turned on when you're using the Coinstash crypto exchange. 3, verify URLs. Now, I know this is a tough one, because who really goes and verifies all URLs? but always double check web addresses and avoid clicking on suspicious links. And hopefully you've got some software that can identify these things for you quite easily. Number 4, don't share private keys. This is like a no-brainer, right? This is like, don't share your passwords to your bank account, okay? You would never share your passwords to your bank account. The same thing is for Bitcoin. Do not share your private keys, passwords, ever at any circumstances. And unfortunately, that's one of the things that my friend did when the exchange and the device company called her to get her information, right? She gave away the keys thinking it was the safe thing to do, but of course it wasn't. Number 5, be wary of unsolicited offers. So ignore emails or messages promising big returns or urgent investment opportunities. In fact, just from a personal note, I pretend that every phone call I get from anyone claiming to be an exchange or claiming to be from a bank, or the post office is a good one, I treat them as scams, all of them. And I also treat every single email that comes through as a scam as well, right? That's what I do. So I think you should take that from your first approach to avoid losing all your life savings. And then number 6, research exchanges and wallets. Use only reputable platforms with a track record of security and transparency. When we're talking about exchanges, one of the exchanges that I use to take all the guesswork out of it is Coinstash, the #1 crypto exchange in Australia. It's the exchange that I use for my SMSF, my company, and my personal accounts. Number 7, update your software. Keep your devices, wallets, and apps up to date to patch vulnerabilities. Number 8, this seems like a no-brainer, but educate yourself. Stay informed about new scams and how they work. Number 9, set strong passwords. Avoid simple or reused passwords. So for example, don't use 123456. Yeah, that's not a good one. Or 11111. Do not use those passwords. Use a password manager if you need one. Number 10, start small. When trying new services, test with a small amount before committing to large sums. Now, this is one that I even practice myself, particularly when I'm sending to a new exchange or to a new wallet of some description. I'm talking small, as in no more than $100. You could even start with $50, right? Because if I'm about to send $100,000 worth of Bitcoin somewhere, I sure as hell want to make sure it gets there. So guys, I've just talked about all of the scams in the world that are labeled scams, and they are scams, no doubt. But what about the debasement of our currency? Yeah, is that a scam? Because some would argue that it is a scam. Now, here's something that is a bit controversial. A scam that's hidden in plain sight. It doesn't involve shadowy hackers or dodgy websites, but institutions we're taught to trust. Yeah, we are taught to trust these institutions. Are you ready? Governments and central banks. Now, when central banks print massive amounts of money, the value of each dollar, pound, or Aussie dollar in our situation drops. This is called inflation, or more dramatically, currency debasement. And over time, your purchasing power quietly erodes away, not because of cyber criminals, but because of official monetary policy. While it's not a scam in the legal sense, many in the crypto community see it as a stealthy way your wealth is taken away. And this is one of the reasons why Bitcoin was created, to offer an alternative to money that can be devalued at will. So while you're watching out for the obvious scams, keep an eye on the bigger picture too, because diversifying assets, staying educated, and understanding how money works are all part of protecting your wealth, crypto or otherwise. So guys, to wrap up, the world of cryptocurrency is full of promise, but also pitfalls. We've covered the Mt. Gox and Bitfinex disasters, looked at common scam methods, shared the top 10 ways to protect your Bitcoin, and even questioned whether government money printing is a kind of hidden scam. What's the key takeaway? Stay vigilant, educate yourself, question everything, and remember, If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a mate. Don't forget to subscribe for more straight talking crypto insights. And until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and happy Bitcoin stacking. Hey, thanks for tuning into Crypto Collective. If you enjoyed this video, the best way to show your support is to subscribe to the channel, or if you're listening on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. It really helps me to create more content just for you. Also, if you're ready to level up your crypto journey, make sure to check out Coinstash. It's the platform that I trust to buy, sell, and hold crypto with ease. You can also find more of me at I'm Matthew Fraser on all social media platforms. Take care.